Okay, so that's what I called Star Trek. Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, Star Trek.
Oh,
man, that makes sense now.
Star Trek Lord.
This is Unpause It, the podcast by a family of geeks.
We're here for Unpause It Podcast. Who's driving it, Willis?
Me.
And who are you?
The sauce.
The sauce underscore.
Yeah,
What is your name?
Underscore.
You are an underscore in my life.
My name is Willis.
Very good.
We're doing the Avengers.
Woo!
Yeah.
We're excited.
Hi.
Yes, and?
And we're starting off with Dad Go.
We have to have introductions, too. Who's at the table today?
I'm here. I'm just a person that's a thing and I don't know what. Explain yourself.
What's your Twitter?
Hi.
What's your Twitter?
I don't know.
Furious Girl with a 0. Furious Zero Girl.
Okay, Mom, you go now.
Thank you. I am Lady Disdain. I am Mom.
Oh.
I am Rachel.
I didn't know that.
I have purple hair.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, actually, you've had that for... Isn't it kind of grayish purple now?
Well, maybe. It does evolve a bit. For anyone who's ever, colored your hair an unearthly color, it does change just about every time I shampoo it. So, yeah.
I just had to get that, Okay, so Dad, what is your profile and whatnot?
Underscore the data bites. So this is the Avengers 2012, May 4th, 2012, the year of our Lord.
The year
2012. This was directed by Joss Whedon, written by Joss Whedon, Zach Penn, a few other people in there.
By the way, yay, Joss Whedon, one of my favorite writers.
Yay! Whatever.
A bit overrated.
No, that's you.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Joss Whedon, Firefly. Yeah. He did Firefly. Thank you. Wait. Suddenly she changed her tune.
I don't know who that is.
Joss Whedon wrote Firefly. He wrote Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He wrote Angel. He wrote Serenity, the movie. Joss Whedon.
So this is starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hiddleston, Jeremy Renner, Clark Gregg, Kobe Smulders, Samuel L. Jackson, Gwyneth Paltrow, Paul Bettany, everybody.
Colby Smulders is Agent Hill, and that's the first time we meet her. This is the first time we meet Agent Hill.
Hold on a second.
What?
Put away your magic.
No, he needs his magic.
These are my notes. Sauce.
Your sauce.
One thing Joss Whedon is known for, and we're going to get into this in this one. This is a spoiler-heavy spoiler cast because this came out 6 years ago.
So we have a little sound effect, which you'll hear right now. And that will indicate to you that there is a spoiler dead ahead. Okay, so whenever you hear this noise, that means there's a spoiler. So I think from this movie on, are going to incorporate those into each of these playoffs. That's tomorrow.
Can't talk about playoffs.
I just slapped myself.
Because this is you're talking about a movie made in 2012, released in 2012. It's 2018. That's only 6 years before today. So we are going to make sure you guys get a heads up. You podcast listeners get a heads up about spoilers. So anytime you hear this noise, spoiler dead ahead. Commence.
Right, and the spoilers will happen, but this is also for parents who have young kids who have not seen these and maybe aren't into these movies, but their kids might be. So this is going to help you better than a rating of PG something or other. Tons and tons and tons and tons of people in here, and it was a huge risk, if you will. We're getting technical on this. We're not going box office or anything like this, but this is the first one distributed by Disney. This is as Disney was buying the Marvel cinematic properties, because those things are owned, and their businesses. But we see the Paramount logo at the beginning, and
we're all making mouse ears around the table because Disney.
Yes. If we do that 3 times, he shows up like Biggie Smalls.
Oh my gosh!
And then stabs you. We have a new actor playing an old character. We have Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Taking over for Edward Norton. Yes. Because Edward Norton did not like the fact that the character in this movie was still kind of struggling with Hulk. He thought that he became comfortable with Hulk in the last movie.
So he didn't want to like the direction this was going.
Right. And that was one of the things I saw, and I was wondering what it was. But I would agree that he did come to some conclusion with that, but he did not want to have anything to do with him still. Makes much more sense.
I think that's interesting you make that point. One of the things I wrote down while we were watching this last night, and we've all seen this before, but we watched it again, there is a consistent theme throughout the movie. Everyone is the most scared of Hulk. You notice how they do that? Like, when everybody's got to talk to him or they got to get to him, and even Loki acknowledges, like, you're the bad news in this scenario. And so he's kind of the big deal as far as the thing people are scared of in this movie. Mark Ruffalo did a fantastic job.
Right.
The power of science. That's how Hulk came to life. It is.
True.
Yes.
What next?
Science.
So what's next? He's run through kind of the who is in this movie and stuff. Where are we going to next, Mr. Sauce?
So, superpowers. I go first. I didn't write anything because there are too many people. Now, Georgia goes first.
Now I have something to say after Georgia.
Alright, so instead of superpowers, I have super stuff, like the things that make the people and stuff. There's Mark 7, there's Captain America's shield, there's Hawkeye's bow, there's Meow Meow, also known as
Mjolnir.
that. There's the gamma radiation for Hulk, and then there's a pistol that,
For Black Widow?
yeah.
I would like to point out that Hawkeye, he was just born with great vision. That's why he uses a bow and arrow. And Romanoff uses a variety of different weapons.
You need Romanoff.
Natasha, the Black Widow.
Yeah.
I love that you did that. I like that you said super stuff instead of superpowers. That's really cool. Along that line, super stuff that we have, I'm going to add the spoiler thing here. We have not one but two Infinity Stones.
However, we don't know that.
We don't know that. But the Tesseract is a super thing in this movie, which is a lot of what the plot is revolving around. Everybody wants that Tesseract.
Right, so superpowers. I wrote down all of them.
Yes.
That's exactly what I wrote. Quote, all of them. So, now, which is ironic because it's not true because we see more superpowers coming on in some of the later Marvel movies. So, it's just kind of being silly there. I have a question for the table here.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of superpowers and things that we see in here, and the MacGuffin in the movie.
What's the MacGuffin?
The Tesseract.
Why did you say MacGuffin?
Because I'm drinking a beer. Maybe.
I'm drinking a beer too. I don't think that's helping me understand you.
The McMuffin.
The Egg McMuffin of the movie. Is the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Being that it doesn't really change and it drives the story along. It's the thing that just follows everybody around and everyone wants to get it.
And we saw the Tesseract from Captain America.
So, spoilers. At the end of the movie, it goes back to Asgard. Now in the subsequent movies, the Bifrost has been repaired.
Uh-huh.
Now, the Bifrost is like the Tesseract, where it has this energy beam and you can go across space and time. Well, maybe just space. But time is relative. Thank you, Einstein.
Science.
Science
and logic and more math.
So, does the Tesseract being on Asgard facilitate the Bifrost being repaired?
Oh.
Because it was destroyed in the Thor movie.
I've always just imagined that as Guardians, as super as they are, must be really good at construction, and they're able to get it done.
We find us out in Thor Ragnarok. Odin got all his gold by thieving and whatnot. But if they can create, literally pure energy and kind of gold-colored shields that can surround their whole castle, then I believe that they can rebuild the Bifrost.
True. I'm just wondering if the Tesseract helps them.
But they do bring that up. So at one point, Loki mentions that
how much dark matter did the All-Father
the Bifrost is not fixed yet. He's like,
yes.
You must have really had to, bend some rules or something to get over here.
Right.
I should also point out, the kids and I've seen a few seasons of this already, but we just started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. together, which is kind of, Dad abides will not watch it. He decides not to. But we've been watching it, and even Furious Girl had mentioned one thing to me last night. She was like, oh my gosh, it's like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, I know.
Really? Who has time for TV?
Truth.
Me.
Any other superness? Do you want to ask anybody else about that?
Superness, superpowers, did Mom go?
I kind of did. I was talking about the super kind of items in here, the Tesseract being the big one, where that's a huge power thing, which they all contend about, right? I mean, Nick Fury's saying, oh, we need it for energy. No, you don't. You want it to kind of create a plan B in case the Avengers don't work out, yes?
There's also another super thing, but it's for the evil side, the Chitauri Scepter.
Yes, the Chitauri Scepter, which Loki is wielding, and lets him turn people into his minions.
Right, let's talk about that when we get down to like favorite scenes and things.
We should talk about that now.
Are you sure?
Do you want to talk about that right now?
I think Mom said this during or after the movie. That I don't think Thanos knew that the scepter was an Infinity Stone. He wouldn't have given that away too easily, I don't think.
Well, that's what my question was, because, in the movie, you see, I mean, they're in the same room at one point, at many points, actually, where you've got the Tesseract, which is from Captain America. We know, they recovered it when they were, Howard Stark recovered it when he was looking for Captain America after he disappeared. They've got it now. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s had it, and they're messing with it, because they're having Eric Selvig mess with it. But then you've got Loki show up. He's got a Chitauri Scepter. And we find out in Age of Ultron, right?
That's the Infinity Stone.
That's a Mind Stone that scepter.
Yeah, so basically there are two Infinity Stones that kind of clash at the end to close a portal.
Yeah.
But in my mind, and I was really tired, mind you.
I'm asking you a question about what you just said so you can go on with your thing. You don't think Thanos knew that it was a Mind Stone? Why wouldn't Thanos know it's a Mind Stone? How could he have been that in the dark about it?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Yeah, so
what do you think?
I think he did know, but he knew that Loki would lose because Loki is a loser, so he must lose. So yeah, and he knew probably that he would get it back.
I don't know.
That's a stretch.
He never got it back.
I just feel like, from what we learn of Thanos later, I cannot imagine Thanos. Here, I have an extended thought. First of all, I couldn't imagine Thanos saying, okay, I know there's an Infinity Stone in this. Loki, go ahead and take it away. Take it away from me. Try to win this war. Oh my gosh, there is a small chance you might not win it. And now I have lost possession of that Infinity Stone. But maybe he did take that risk saying, okay, I'm going to let you use it, but then he didn't get back. And then you see how he's like, oh, okay, who's the Kree guy that he has to get? Ronan. So later Ronan, he's like, hey, go get the Infinity Stone for me and bring it to me right now. And Ronan's like, I don't think I will. And that's why Thanos is like, crud, here we go again. I got to try to go get an Infinity Stone because I can't trust people to get this. And then at the end, I'm going to do this myself. So maybe this all leads to the fact he was trying to kind of use his own power players that were not him to round up these Infinity Stones. It's not working out well for him. And so at the end, he's finally like, fine, I'll do it myself.
I have two things to say. The scepter, usually Infinity Stones aren't clashing at each other, but when they do, it's probably an immense power wave that just disintegrates everything, or just
So you think they...
Yeah, but the machine that Eric Selvig built might have helped not blow up.
True.
Right, so let's talk about this.
Because you poked it with a golden stick.
Yeah.
And it didn't blow up because there's an Infinity Stone inside.
And was that one or two things? Because you said you had two things to say.
Okay, I do have two things to say.
I forgot it.
The other one.
Okay, so let's go on to some of the other analysis. Watching this with a hindsight view.
Yes.
We're going to have a podcast for Black Panther.
Uh-huh.
In 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It comes out February 16th. We will have a reaction podcast. Hopefully not spoiler heavy, but they are children. And I like to spoil things too. So.
What?
They are children? Who's they?
The Sauce and Furious Girl.
You guys will just be like, oh my gosh, this happened, and then blah, blah.
You're also
this was the greatest.
Child. Adult.
We see in an end scene from Thor the Dark World. The best part of Thor the Dark World is it introduces the Guardians of the Galaxy universe because the Collector is in the end credit scene for Thor: Dark World, and they have the Ether, which is some sort of other stone,
Infinity
the Power Stone.
Oh wait. Isn't it the Destruction Stone or is that?
I don't remember what it is.
It's a stone of something that's crazy.
Did we see that last night? I don't remember seeing that.
No. But this isn't Thor: Dark World. This end scene.
Gotcha.
The end scene last night, which we'll get to whenever the sauce tells us to.
Dun, dun, dun.
But what was one of the Warriors 3? The guy that eats a lot?
Dwarfman.
I don't know his
He looks
He's got the
kind of
big beard.
Hey,
Yeah,
Magic,
looks kinda
why
like
don't
a
you look
dwarf.
it up and find out who that is?
Yeah, use your magic, Dad. Oh,
I can't, but
yeah.
what he says,
Wait.
it's dangerous to have two Infinity Stones so close together,
Right.
is what he says.
Which leads up, that ties up to what you said.
So hold on, let me finish my point. The guys that were making Avengers did not really know that they would make more Avengers.
Right.
They did not really know that this was going to go on. That's kind of the weird thing about this. They were making money, but then they might have to scale back. Robert Downey Jr. might ask too much money. Jeremy
Right.
Renner would be like, no, I'm now in Mission Impossible, or these other things. So they kind of said that the scepter was powered by the Tesseract. Okay? In this movie, they say that, well, the scepter's powered by the Tesseract. They didn't really understand what was in it.
Yeah.
That's addressed in Age of Ultron, where Ultron says they had no idea what they had. So go back to the original question. How did Thanos not know?
Yeah.
He did know.
No.
He had to have not known. In my opinion, he had to have not known.
I mean, he would not. You should look up what Infinity Stones are which. Because we know what the Mind Stone and Tesseract are.
That is,
Scepter and Tesseract.
that's what the magic is for.
And at this point, so now with Avengers, that's the first time I think we see there's gonna be an Infinity Stone like carrying on. And we know Thanos is after them anyway, but so in addition to the Tesseract, we see the Scepter, which later winds up being a Mind Stone. And so that gets us kicked off on like, okay, now the game is on and the quest is going for everybody finding Infinity Stones.
I'm pretty sure that we would have to ask Joss Whedon, because he did direct Age of Ultron as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was a bad move just on
I don't.
Thing.
I don't know, artistic level. It needed another direction. He could have been writer and then let somebody else take it.
Maybe.
It felt a little rehashy. But
It might, but on the
we'll
other
go over
hand,
that during that movie.
On the other hand, Joss Whedon is excellent at writing movies that include ensembles of casts, and he did that with Serenity. He did it with Firefly, and he does a really good job here with the Avengers. Because, like you'd mentioned, there's a ton of people in this movie. Willis, do you think we've hashed out? We've talked about superpowers, and we've talked about the Shatari scepter. Where to?
So we're not going to do weaknesses or vulnerabilities unless anybody wants.
There's too many,
Yeah.
like superpowers. There's just too many.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing about that?
One thing.
I just think if there's any vulnerability, it was disunity. It was the fact that they were not assembled.
They were
if you will.
not. They were not Avengers assembled.
Well, there was a quote, Joss Whedon saying, yeah, these people are like a family. They come together, and they shouldn't be in the same room together, just like the four people sitting here. A lot of fighting all the time, but we're all on the same side. Mostly. But maybe we do some different things, like slurping water on the microphone.
Can we do anything?
Okay, so that's what I called Star Trek, Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, Star Trek. Oh man, that makes sense now.
Star Trek Lord.
Now, if we just took that little spot and said, oh yeah, Star-Lord, Star Trek, that makes sense now, and made that a ringtone, we might make money on that, because that makes no sense, but it's funny.
It does. It makes sense. All right, that was the only vulnerability I had.
Okay, so next, villains. I would think that Loki is one of the main villains. Thanos is just the overall villain. We only see that in the last movie, though. He just basically sets most of everything up.
Right, and spoilers.
Yeah, okay. No.
Thanos, right, is the guy behind all of this. Going back to, does he know, does he not know about the scepter or whatever, he's manipulating several different things of the entire galaxy because he wants to be, either destroy the whole galaxy or rule the galaxy, something.
No, he wants to be the most powerful person in the entire universe of our lives, and he wants to kill us all.
Now,
Loki is one of the main villains, but then it all adds up to the guy who sets it all up. Thanos.
Right.
And Chitauri, I think, is a man-made kind of organic skin type armor.
Well, they have like that hive mind type thing
Yeah,
where
they are kinda
they
different.
blow up the whole thing and then they kind of just like die.
Yeah, I think that they
Right.
are artificial living beings.
The
With
other
organic skin.
is a Chitauri.
The other?
The guy with the two
Chitauri.
thumbs is like, you haven't known pain to Loki.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
Thanos
the
is
two thumbs
servant.
is just gross.
This is played by Alexis Denisof, by the way.
Right.
Another Joss Whedon favorite.
Right. Anyway, some of the villains, though, that we're not talking about are Dr. Selvig,
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
You're talking about the turned people.
Now-
they're not the villains. Loki
They've
is
turned,
Yeah.
but they are the villains as far as they are working against the heroes. But we need to address that because we didn't see Hawkeye in a good way until later movies.
True.
And everyone was like, but at the end of the movie, he redeems himself. So does Selvig because he was the second movie for him. Mm-hmm. Also, the Council.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to
good point.
destroy Manhattan with
Yeah.
a nuclear weapon, right? At
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah,
So there also, we find out what about the...
So this drives back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is why that I believe it is relevant to watch that, and even if you don't like the whole TV setup of that, to pain your way through it. But we do discover that at least one person on that council that it figures in this movie is Hydra. And that becomes relevant later once when we hit to Captain America Winter
When we get to
Soldier.
Winter Soldier, which is my favorite one.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Willis.
So I think Director Fury isn't part of the council, but like
He's the director of
it's-
S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
we never see the council in person until Winter Soldier, and we never see him after that because they all died. I think.
You will see them in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is different.
Okay, so
Being 11 is hard.
Really hard on
Star
everyone,
Trek.
11, he's 11.
Being 11 is harder.
which is hard on everyone.
Star Trek.
Anyway,
Star-Lord,
Okay.
go.
let's refocus here, buddy.
No.
I like it when
no,
Mom's
I do
angry.
not. I do not know
He
what
doesn't
you're
like it when I'm
saying.
angry, though.
Angry is
I don't know
different.
what you are saying.
Wait,
I'm waiting for Willis to say something.
wait. I have a secret. I'm always angry.
Yes.
That's a good part of the movie.
That is really
That
good.
segues into our favorite scenes.
Should we talk about that?
No, the
Well, not yet.
What do you want to talk about?
Major battles. in Star Trek.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's the movie
Yeah.
because it's basically an entire giant
It's a lot
major
of
battle.
It's a time bomb.
Ooh, can I say all of them?
No.
Yes, you just did, I think.
No, I didn't.
You just said all of them.
I recorded you saying all of them.
It's right there.
I can see it right there. There it goes.
All of them.
All of them.
Can I say all of them? We're like, yes, there you did.
I mean, all of the battles individually. So,
Okay, she chronologued them, right?
yes, there's the mountain battle. There's this gross battle. It's like.
Oh, the eyeball thing.
Yes, that.
Oh yeah, the thing where he literally kills his face.
Stuttgart is where that
Yeah, in
happened.
Germany, Cleveland, same thing.
And then.
That's where it was filmed.
And that also ties into my favorite scene, but I'll take that for later. A word battle when Hulk person, I can't remember his name, the Hulk.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo, Bruce
Yeah.
Banner.
Yes.
Banner.
When he holds the Chitauri scepter, that's basically a word battle. That confuses
Right.
I know. It's
Right.
like the scepter is kind of
Controlling them.
Is kind of like
It's affecting them.
It's,
Yes.
it's affecting them. And Banner eventually, since he has some serious anger management and whatnot,
Really? Let's understate that a little bit.
just a little bit.
I don't get that angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, Mom. You're gonna kill us
All right,
all.
so-
Dad gets that angry. He's
Anyway.
hungry.
Major battles, Georgia. Do you want to keep enumerating the major battles?
Yes, there's Bruce one, like the Bruce Banner one, where it's with Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, and Hulk. They just fight.
Oh, well, okay, so I think that is encompassed what I call the carrier battle. Like they're up in there, they are all battling, right? Because you're
In
talking.
the air, and that's kind of scary.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, they're all battles
now,
everywhere.
Let's think about this real quick. So we have the opening. The opening, we have Loki versus
Shield.
Nick Fury.
Yes.
Basically.
Uh-huh.
So in Shield. Takes, and who shoots Nick Fury?
Hawkeye.
So then we have the lab, all that stuff happening in there.
Uh-huh.
That's the opening at the lab. So that whole battle scene, the whole thing sinks in. We see Agent Hill's pretty, capable.
Yeah.
Then we have Black Widow, the Black Widow interrogation.
Yeah, I don't know if I call that. I wouldn't say that's a major
Wait,
battle.
just
That's,
like-
Well, I'm going through.
that's a day at work for her.
Did everyone get a chance to talk about major battles?
When I stopped at the interrogation, and you said,
I'd said the carrier battle kind of encompasses all the battles, like the one that you mentioned between
Yeah.
Black Widow. We hadn't yet talked about, I don't know, what was probably the biggest battle of this entire movie.
New York City battle.
Very good.
the incident. However, before we get to the incident, we want to say that that's referred to as the incident in the Netflix Marvel series, which our kids have not seen,
And won't see for a while.
and it's pretty adult, those TV shows, but they mention it in there. However, let's kind of talk about, since we're on battles, who fights whom here. So we got Thor fighting Iron Man. We've got Loki fighting Captain America,
And Iron Man.
and then Iron Man. Who would we have fighting who? We have Thor versus Hulk, round 1. Because round 2 is in space.
We had Coulson
yeah.
versus Loki, and Coulson lost, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Coulson did lose.
But then he didn't completely lose. He also blasted him like
He got a good hit in.
Right.
yeah. So did Loki.
We
It's
had-
like 50-50.
Black Widow versus Hawkeye.
Black Widow versus Hawkeye. That's what I'm trying to get to that one. That's on here too. So we had these levels of fights versus fight. We had Loki versus Nick Fury at the very beginning, right? So we have all these individual battles throughout the whole movie, right? And then we come to the last major battle where they're in New York City and they have that pan around. No one thought you would see,
We saw it in the trailer.
we saw things, but no one ever thought would see and have it work in a movie, and it works.
Yeah.
It works great.
Because Joss Whedon directed it. Oh, I said it.
Okay.
Again. Next. Stanley cameo. I don't remember what that was. Did they even have one?
They did.
Yes, he did.
George Ed, got it?
Where is it?
I just put
Do you remember what it was? Can you describe for the sauce and everyone what it was?
It was after the New York City battle when all was well. He was like, superheroes in New York.
Please.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
playing this little dude.
He's playing someone in chess.
He
Yeah.
was playing someone who was just playing chess out in a park in New York City. He's like, give me a break.
So all around him.
What'd you think of it?
Wait,
now that you knew
no.
what it was?
New York City was not Manhattan.
It's
Manhattan's
in
part of New York City.
Ow!
That's part of New York City.
Isn't Manhattan like that little island thing?
It's not little, and it's part of New York City.
Yeah, there's a lot to New York City.
We'll look at a map after this, and you can see how big New York City
What'd
is.
you think of it, Will, now that you remember what it was? That cameo.
So I thought it was like really.
You didn't like it?
I didn't. Well, I liked it. I just didn't like how it rolled out. Like, why did you say? Just like doubtfulness. I don't know. Just don't.
It didn't
someone
sit
please do
with you.
something.
Well, one thing, we don't watch television here. We don't watch television news for sure, and this is a television news thing. So it doesn't resonate with the kids so much. It resonates with Furious
Although,
Girl,
yeah, she liked it.
but not so much with the sauce. That's fine. I thought it was I thought that's where his cameos are the best.
Yeah, me too.
When they're not famous people and they're regular guys.
A little short one. You're like, hey, there he is, and move along.
Right.
So everyone has their rating on the Stanley cameo. Mine is like poop. Yeah,
Ah,
little porcupine.
mine's not poop. Mine's at least a chocolate bar.
Mine is 100,000 million chocolate bars
say mine
plus
is a Hershey's.
10,000 million kittens.
Mine is actually a chocolate bar. Oh wait, no, I just ate it. It's poop.
Ew, wow. Okay.
I had to.
What's next, Willis?
I had
Take
to.
us
He is
far from
11.
this.
You know who it's from.
Take us far from this.
Good,
place.
you actually said it correctly.
So favorite scenes, right?
Yeah, favorite scenes.
Which will encompass a lot of these battles, I am assuming.
Mom, go first. I want to go first. I go in a second.
I'm only gonna say one because I have like 6 written down.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just say one.
Yeah.
So let me pick the best one. I'm gonna steal it from at least a couple people here. The Loki ragdoll.
Oh, that's also mine.
Okay.
That's not even on here, just now.
The probably, and apparently it was like, well, do we leave it in or not? It was kind of actually a decision they weren't sure of, but they left it in. And it's when Hulk, who basically got jerked over by Loki, Loki set him in motion to really destroy, disassemble the Avengers, if you will. But where the Hulk meets up with Loki and encounters him at the Stark Tower, and at first Loki's like, "Stop! I'm a god, you dull creature!" But he can't even get it out of his mouth before.
Yeah, and then slams
Just
him right.
ragdolls him hard.
Just like on the ground. Right.
You gotta see it. If you haven't seen it, it's great.
Wait, no,
Great.
and part of it is you like on the ground, slams him.
But then he picks him up and he chucks.
And you're like, "Are you alright?"
I know, it's like he's slam, slam, slam. Let me look at you and slam, slam.
Now,
And that's great.
that's not on my favorite scenes, since I knew it was going to be on everyone else's favorite scenes.
It's not on my favorite
Puny
scene
God.
either.
That's what I'm going to say about my
Okay.
favorite scene. See if somebody else mentions the other.
I think the
so-
next job should be Furious Girl, right?
Alright, so mine is the German person in the crowd.
There are
thing.
always men like you.
Oh, yeah.
Stands up, he's like, you can just go ahead and kill
Where,
me,
yeah, in
'cause there's always men
Stuttgart,
like
where
you.
he's like saying, you should
You
all.
suck. That's what he's saying. You suck, and you will always suck, and you're a nerd.
But then Captain America saves the day yet again.
Right.
Well, for the first time in like 70 years.
Now the spinning around of all the Avengers assembled, they don't ever say it, around there, is the most iconic
Yeah.
one that they wanted. The best scene is the Loki ragdoll scene. However, I kind of pulled an audible and went favorite lines. So
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. That's
going to read
gonna
this.
Be sad.
He's going to read it on his paper.
Ow.
Are you planning to step on us? Nick Fury,
Yeah.
right? In the interrogation. Stop lying to me.
Who, what?
12% of the credit.
Oh yeah.
His first name is Agent.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I was having a 12% of the night.
You named
I
one
said
of my
that.
favorite scenes. You named my other favorite scene. I
Now
have
these
no
are
more
favorite scenes. Galaga, that man's playing Galaga.
Nobody would notice.
I love Gallagher.
Well,
Right.
we did.
Now, I'm not gonna go over any of the lines, but when Black Widow plays Loki,
That is really great.
played him hard.
And Loki is the god of mischief.
Right.
Yeah, she got him.
And
He got out
Romanoff could actually sneak up on him.
He got out
Right.
mischiefed by Romanoff. That, I think was important.
That shows the power of Romanoff too, as well. So she has no superpowers, but she's been super trained.
But you see, but it alludes to that too, because when you first see her in this movie, she is totally playing a room full of guys like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so helpless, you're beating me up," and then she just lays them out within 30 seconds while Coulson's on hold.
Yeah,
I'm working
but-
here.
but-
This guy's telling me everything.
Yeah. Because they're telling her.
All the
Everything.
secrets.
Yeah.
Everything.
He's like, "I'm
Right.
not telling her everything." You're like, "You kind of are, dude."
Right.
Yeah.
And other than Loki, Captain America is seen killing the most people.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, but he's doing it because they're attacking him, and
Yeah.
it's kind of it's just one of those you don't really realize that Captain America is killing the most people. And I'm thinking in the carrier battle after Tony comes out of the turbine, I'm pretty sure he was coming in fast enough. He killed that guy
Yeah.
as he hit him.
I think that maybe, just maybe, some of those people who were like went with Hawkeye, those people in black, like SWAT members.
Yeah.
I think that some of them might have been Hydra and not even need to be controlled.
Ooh.
Oh, so they weren't even
interesting
Mind Stone. They were
theory.
just enemies and were doing it because they were just that kind of guy.
That's like
Interesting.
Good.
it's the theory, but only some of them, because well, not everyone's
you have
Hydra.
anything
Almost
else?
everyone, but not everyone.
No, I didn't write many more of those down in there, but my favorite scene is after they do that whole thing. It's like, we're gonna do this together and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Cap goes Hulk, and Hulk's like, smash, right?
And
he jumps up and he's literally smashing a Chitauri one at a time.
Wait, and-
jumps across the street and smashes a plane out of the air.
with his face.
just and he's
face like
just
an
going nuts on these
explosion.
people.
Right.
Full on rage monstering
Yeah.
in a good way is so satisfying.
Yeah. This is a little bit more of a subtle one, and everybody else has covered every other scene except this one. I really like the moment where Steve Rogers, Captain America, meets Bruce Banner, the Hulk, on the carrier. They shake hands. These are the two super soldiers. One of them gone incredibly right, one of them gone horribly wrong, and they meet.
Or incredibly.
Or
Wait,
incredibly right.
so
Incredibly light plus
Incredible Hulk.
okay, I think that Stark was like Howard Stark was more technological and he made all the equipment, but
Erskine.
Erskine.
Erskine, he was more like chemical science. The modern day people couldn't replicate what he did.
That's right.
In like
Because,
18 something.
we're going to go back to Captain America, the first Avenger. It was Vita Rays. What were Vita Rays? They don't really know what the Vita Rays were.
And nobody knew.
And Erskine didn't really tell Stark what it was. This is how I'm doing it in my head, because otherwise Stark would have been like, yeah, you just use gamma rays with this formula. Because he had to have the formula written down, but he wasn't good enough to make it. It's like when you're making a soup, or you're making a very complicated recipe on the stove. If I make it versus my wife making it, they're going to taste different. We have different skill sets for making the same ingredients go together. I think that's how complex this is. And since Banner was a gamma ray expert already, they're like, oh, let's just do this. And he got,
Do you remember that, though, too, where Fury, at the very beginning, or Dr. Eric Selvig, he's like, well, it's giving off just, spikes of gamma radiation. That can be harmful.
I was about to say that. Come on. Every time I'm about to say something,
All right.
you say every time.
Now, I will say this about Joss Whedon.
Every time.
His best attribute are one-liners.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think his writing is so strong, and that was one reason when this came out and I knew Joss was directing it, I was very excited because I'm like, I get to hear Robert Downey Jr. say Joss Whedon lines. I was very excited, so that's why.
Like, I have a bad feeling.
Did you get to cover everything?
what about
Yes.
your favorite?
We talked about the Loki ragdoll. Which
Okay, yeah, Loki Ragdoll. His first name is Agent. That could be harmful. I forgot to write this down, but one of my favorite scenes is that look Banner gave Stark when he poked him.
Really?
just like, really? And now I have nothing else. Moving on to the overall rating, then we'll talk about all the end credit scenes in half hour.
Okay, overall rating. What is this? I am dying to know what our unit is.
What's the unit
out of
measure?
control, big green rage monsters.
Out of control, big green rage.
That's exactly what I would have chosen, by the way.
Wait, isn't that what Stark wrote? Like, Stark, I love how you terms out of control, big green rage monster.
Then he zaps him with a sharp thing.
Just like, okay. Who goes first? Georgia.
Oh, thank you. So I have 100 out of 100.
No.
It's 0 to 10.
So you'd be
10 out of 10 Green Rage monsters.
All right, wait, everybody, just pause a moment because this girl is very
given zeros
stingy
everything
with her scores on all these movies, but this one got a perfect 10 out of control. Big Green Rage.
Oh, that was really good.
Overrated. wait, I gotta say this. That was overrated. It was overrated.
Who is next?
Me.
Okay.
9.5. Overrated.
by half a point.
The kids are really saying this movie is good.
Yeah. The only reason I say it's not good, it had its really, really bad moments, like he monster. Oh, that's the plan. It helps
So
the story, but I don't like it.
Basically, any human part of it you didn't like. You just like fighting and killing.
Yeah.
Who's next?
The mom.
9 out of 10 out of control. Big Green Rage monsters.
Oh wait, Dad, don't be 8.5.
8.9.
Oh.
I can't quite give it a 9. 9. But I had to put a 9 in it. Now, the reason it's 8.9, not a 9, is because of Captain America's silly outfit.
Aww. But it's old fashioned.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, me neither. That was.
Can I say one thing? I've seen this movie. Probably that was like my 10th time seeing.
Right.
I picked up something I hadn't noticed before.
What did you not notice?
All right, do you remember when, obviously, Philip Coulson, we all love Phil Coulson, he loves Captain Rogers.
His first name is Agent.
He loves Steve. He loves him. He's like, oh, if you could just sign my cards, they're vintage, But do you remember when he first knew, he's on the plane with Steve Rogers, and he's like, really, I'm just such a big fan. I watched you while you were sleeping. I mean, I was there when you were unconscious. So you're just like, oh, and Steve's like, I really don't know how to handle you right now. But Steve's like, well, I don't know if I'm the right guy for this. And he's like, oh, you are? And he's like, yeah, but doesn't it seem a little old-fashioned? And Steve's like, maybe we could use something.
Wait, no.
Oh, Phil's a little bit. We can use it a little.
Yeah.
Phil says we could use a little old-fashioned. And then later, I hadn't even noticed this. This is after Coulson has died. Nick Fury is talking to them. He's like, you didn't sign him. He's like, and Agent Coulson died believing in the Avengers. And Stark walks away, and Nick Fury says, well, it was an old-fashioned idea. I was like, oh,
Wait, do what Mom did with finger. 3, 2, 1.
But I was like, that's what he said. So it's just funny to me. I feel like I could probably recite this movie, but I hadn't noticed that before.
So what we're saying is that if you have kids, watch this movie with them.
Yes.
You will enjoy it. They'll probably enjoy it more than you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I will. Yeah, I will.
So now we're on to the end credit scene, right? That was what you said.
Yeah. Wait, before, Mom, your rating was 9.
I said 9.
Yeah.
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 And now
I was the last one to rate it. 8.9.
And now we're in Germany. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to end credit scenes because we have things to do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we have to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
the Cheesecake Factory.
The people
and
listening
eat
have things to do.
They're probably like,
Hey,
oh my god.
we're not mentioning names of things until they start paying us.
That'll be a
What's
rating
that?
system in the future.
What the flip?
United Airlines doesn't do this bad.
It's so funny.
Anyway.
End credit scene?
Seriously though.
This is kind of where we introduce mid-credit scenes.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes off and they have a little, the theme and everything's got special effects and it's like Stan Lee and blah, blah, blah and Joe, blah, 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 directed by Josh, blah, 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 blah.
I don't say. Blah, blah.
And then it comes up and it's like, and it was the other talking to Thanos.
Yeah.
And we see Thanos. This is the first time we've seen Thanos, right?
And when he's wearing golden armor, like the exact same type of gold in the Charge Scepter, or it's the same gold as Asgard has.
Okay,
Like the
so
same
it's
kind of-
really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Makes real good sense. So why hasn't Thanos been just wreaking havoc without Infinity Stones? Because Odin is, pretty much all as strong, right?
And because he knows that if they team together, he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically,
Right.
I think without the Infinity Stones, Thanos could not take
Could
on.
be defeated by people coming together.
Yeah, but he can be defeated by Hulk alone. Let's just be honest. Without the Infinity Stones, without
But
the Infinity
listen,
Stones.
we haven't seen Thanos in full power. We don't know.
Yeah, but
There's
in
a
full
reason
power, he has the
people are
Infinity
scared
Stones.
of him.
Well,
There's a
speaking
reason
of that,
Ronan is scared of him.
Here's what I believe. I believe we haven't seen Hulk in full power yet.
Yeah, me neither.
He's fighting Thor and Thor Ragnarok, spoilers.
We also haven't seen Thor in full power yet.
Right. Which we see a little bit of that in Ragnarok as well. Ragnarok being one of the best movies of last year.
So good.
Yeah,
Period.
I have seen
My
him in full power.
it's my all-time favorite movie of Marvel and of Batman and of Harry Potter and of Star Wars.
So what do you think about the end credit scene? Because it was just a mid-credit scene. Then they added in the end credit scene, which was the shawarma.
The shawarma.
Shawarma.
What's shawarma anyway?
I had to talk about it first.
Wait, I forgot the end credits.
Okay, Furious Girl has something to
Furious
say.
Girl, talk about the end credit scene, then you'll know.
Captain America is going like this to the camera because he's wearing a goatee.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, had another role in another movie where he had to grow facial hair.
Yeah.
So they put on a prosthetic jaw, which is ironic because Chris Evans does the jaw thrust. That's
Oh
like
my
his
God.
move.
That would have been another rating thing, like the Captain America jaw thrust.
It just
Or it could have been
It's
Bruce
like a
Banner,
cow.
laser pokes
or chocolate covered blueberries because that's what they're eating.
Right.
Freeze-dried
wait, no, they were
blueberries.
just eating.
Here's a little bit of trivia. Those chocolate covered blueberries that were in there, those are Robert Downey Jr.'s, and he hides them in sets whenever he's working. So when he gets hungry, he just grabs them out and starts eating them during scenes.
Which he can.
And Joss Whedon rolled with it, and the whole poking and the whole thing like that. That was like a completely ad lib scene.
Of course it was because Robert
Right, because
Downey
Robert Downey Jr. is pretty amazing.
sick.
So shawarma is basically lamb, turkey, chicken, beef, veal, mixed meats placed on a spit and grilled. It's like gyros.
I have had shawarma.
No,
I really have.
No, I
there,
haven't.
there is actually it's not there anymore. There's a little shopping center near us, and I went for lunch. This is a couple years ago after this movie came out. A friend of mine and I went for lunch, went over there, and I was like, it was a little Greek place, and we went in there, and they had shawarma, and I was like, or Mediterranean place, and I was like, I'm gonna have some shawarma, and I was all excited, and it was incredibly good. It was very savory. I think you guys would like it.
It's a little disappointing, the very end credit scene. The mid credit scene, I guess they're not as weak as we thought, and it's going to court death.
Yeah,
and-
to challenge them, Mr. Court Death.
right. And Thanos is like, yeah, with his giant ridged goatee
You talk
face
about
thing.
a jaw thrust. He's
Right.
got a big jaw thrust.
no, seriously. His chin is the size of my forehead.
He's got a
Dude.
His forehead.
He's got a
Dude.
Jay Leno chin
My
for
face.
sure. I mean,
Dude, Jay Leno's chin looks
My
normal
headphones.
compared to this chin.
yes.
Anyway,
It's the size of my
so we're going to move on to some technical specs. This movie made, I think the technical term is a buttload of money.
How many buttloads of money did it make? Databyte.
$1.5 billion.
What the flip, man?
Wow.
That's how much Tony Stark has inside of the Marvel
No, yeah,
movies.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark has more than that.
Yeah, he's
Well, almost.
he's like Scrooge.
I did see a thing a while back where it was rated the richest superheroes, and Tony Stark was worth like $9 billion.
Wow.
Bruce Wayne was worth like $12 million.
Yeah.
It was like, there's this weird, who does this? Who has time to figure out how much stuff costs? What?
Who has time to record a podcast about Avengers movies either?
Okay, doing weird things like that. So it made a lot of money. So the opening weekend. Can anyone guess how much money it made on opening weekend? Now, why was a big opening weekend? What would that mean if it had a lot of money made on the opening weekend?
It would mean it's a really good and highly rated movie, and people are like, yeah!
Excited to see it, yes.
Excitement, it would mean that the prior movies have done a really good job building up to this moment when they all come together.
Right. It made $207 million its opening weekend.
Wow.
Wow.
Right. What did it, and we're just talking about the United States. It grossed in the United States $623 million, meaning that it went on to stay in the theaters.
Yeah.
And people went back to see it. A lot of people loved to see it. And it made $1.519 billion worldwide.
Wow.
Right. So
That's a lot.
it made a lot of money.
That's just from theaters? That's
right.
just
That
from
doesn't
theaters?
include the
DVDs?
6 DVDs that we have. We have one.
Doesn't include us buying the Blu-ray.
Right. It does not include that. So this is making lots of money. So when people say, well, this is kind of a flop or this one didn't make as much money, they got money rolling around. So we're wondering, other movies coming on. We're going to see another Avengers for sure. When you see this kind of money coming thing, like, okay, good, we can look forward to seeing another movie.
Yeah, it seemed like that much money would have totally greenlit saying, okay, let's go full bore, and here we have got a lot of things to develop and really take these storylines forward.
So we saw it twice opening weekend. I remember this.
Yeah.
And we took my mom, we took the kids, and we sat in the front row because this was, 2012. Theaters are a little bit more comfortable now.
Yeah.
But it was just regular seating, but we sat in the front of a row, so we had a railing in front of us.
Yeah.
So the handicap seating would be in front of that. So they have a really good way to get, wheelchair people who are in wheelchairs and things like that. So but we like to sit right at the railings because my son, if you have not noticed, and likes to walk around a lot.
And if you are hearing some thumping on the table right now, it's because
That's
Dad
me.
Abides likes to thump on the table.
I do like to thump on the table. I get that from my grandfather. I'll explain that in another podcast.
Goodbye.
Yes. However, during the second time he saw the ragdoll scene, he stood up and mimed it in the theater. And
don't
his
remember
grandmother,
that, no.
my mother, wasn't watching the movie. She was dying because she was watching him do the movie in the front row of the section that we were in the theater because it was so good. And
Wait, I did that?
you totally did that.
I did that.
We
You
don't
don't
record
remember.
things during movies, otherwise I would have video recorded that because that was amazing.
Obviously, it stuck with him because he knows.
What the flip? I don't know where to do.
Anyway, the next movie we are going to talk about coming up is Iron Man 3.
Yay.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about that. Who drives that one? Is that you?
Me.
Okay, I'm
Goodbye.
excited to talk about that one. I feel like that gets the it's probably the most introspective, drama focused of all of them. Plus, Guy Pearce is in it, which is
Well,
pretty
Guy
awesome.
Pearce is amazing.
Okay.
Also, another strong villain. So,
Yeah.
there was a podcast I was listening to today. Yeah, the MCU has, they're just pure evil. These villains are just pure evil. I'm like, I think those people who are saying that in these other podcasts, Collider.com,
Called out.
Collider.com, hopefully hashtag Collider.com, and we put this in the blog and they can see this.
Hashtag yo.
You kind of need to reassess your villain and come with a little bit stronger case than they're just pure evil and they aren't fleshed out.
I think they're totally fleshed out. They have motivations. We've talked about this.
Right. So Guy Pearce
I mean, look at
is amazing.
I'm getting irate, and I haven't even watched or heard their podcast, and they're like, how can you say they're not fleshed out? He's got a whole sticking origin story, pretty much.
Right.
In
So the
movie.
next movie, Iron Man 3.
Intro.
So Iron Man 3 is next. After that, Thor: Dark World,
Yes.
which as a movie has flaws.
Yes.
On a technical level,
Yes.
but gives us a next Infinity Stone
Yes.
and some really good humor from Kat Dennings and
And Loki.
Loki.
Loki's
And
so fun in that one.
it's good. And it sets up Thor Ragnarok. So it's the middle of a trilogy. Thor Dark World. We're going to talk about it being a trilogy. Middle of a trilogy, Captain America Winter Soldier. I will go on record as saying it's as good as being the middle of a trilogy as Empire Strikes Back is as being in the middle of a trilogy.
Says a lot right there, yo.
It's, in my opinion, better than Civil War and better than the first Avenger.
So now moving on to what Georgia probably has been waiting for. Half-hour screen time.
Can I go first? You go first.
Be giving. Be giving.
What's your half-hour screen time, Furious Girl?
No, it's not Thanksgiving.
I said be giving, not
Not
Well,
Thanksgiving.
you said giving. So
What is Furious Girl's half-hour screen time?
for this next week.
Mooncraft/Minecraft. I'd like to call it Mooncraft, but it's called Minecraft, and goodbye.
What?
Minecraft. Okay. You do have Rayman on Switch as well,
Yeah.
which I've been playing, and you
Yeah.
can't play it anymore.
Hey, you bought it for me for Christmas, so it's mine.
I'm just gonna be playing it, so you just don't have any time.
All right. What about you? What's your half-hour screen time this week, Mister?
I have no. I don't
Probably Minecraft again.
Maybe some Minecraft PC, Overwatch, Battlefront.
Probably Battlefront.
You guys played a lot of
Battlefront
that for
1.
this week, yeah.
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
Georgia.
No, but you and
Just
Eli
like
did.
it.
Yeah, I like doing co-op survival with someone who knows how to play the game.
Which
Hey!
nobody here does. You're
No.
the
Yes, I
only
do.
one in this house.
What
Well,
about
you
Eli? Well, not really, Georgia. No.
Well, a friend of
Yes, I
ours
do.
does play well. However, the deal is he has good grades for the first part of this next semester that we're in. He can get Battlefront 2.
Oh.
Has to have good grades.
Like
So that's the half-hour screen time. Is that our podcast? Is this the end? Should the sauce say, hey, this is the end of our podcast?
How do you want
Nah.
to close it? Darn, I wish I hadn't talked over this. That would've been
Goodbye.
perfect.
Follow Unposit on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or visit us online at unposit.com.